I knew the room went silent before even heard it. It was the kind of silence that pulls oxygen straight out of your lungs. My fork hovered midair, my pulse thudding in my ears as every face at the Thanksgiving table locked on me. 500. 000. Grandpa repeated slower this time. You got it, didn't you? I wish I could have answered him. I wish I could have pretended this was some misunderstanding. But the truth hit me with the precision of a sniper shot. My parents' faces drained first, white, motionless, calculating. My sister's lips parted just slightly, as if ready to lie again, and in that moment, I realized they thought Grandpa would never ask me about it ever. I set my fork down quietly, deliberately, because I understood something bigger than betrayal. This wasn't an accident. This was a heist. Andy had been the mark. My mother's voice trembled first. Dad, maybe you're confused. But Grandpa cut her off with a look I'd never seen from him. Sharp, disappointed, painfully sober. I wired the money to the account your mother gave me, he said to me directly. To help you start your business. You told her you needed it. Except I hadn't. Not once. The only thing I told my mother last month was that I was thinking about quitting my job. And she had smiled at me. Sweet, rehearsed, careful. Like she already knew how my life would unfold. Now I knew why. The back of my neck prickled. My sister wouldn't meet my eyes. My father reached for his wine like it might defend him. The room grew thick, heavy. Everyone waiting for me to break the tension. I didn't. I just studied them. The way a detective studies a crime scene. He suddenly realizes he's standing in the middle of. Trust is a quiet thing when it dies. It doesn't scream, it dissolves. I remembered the small signs. How my mother intercepted every call from Grandpa lately. How my sister suddenly had new jewelry. How my father insisted I stop stressing Grandpa with career talk. I remembered the night I told them I had $600 in my bank account and needed time to figure things out. My mother had hugged me with a pity I didn't understand. Now I did. They weren't worried. They were already spending my future. Grandpa looked at me, voice softening. You didn't get anything, did you? I shook my head once. Something inside him cracked. I heard it. A faint exhale, part grief, part fury. He pulled out his phone, scrolling with trembling fingers. Show them, he said to me. Show them the transfer receipt. I didn't need to. He turned the screen, and all their faces reflected back in the glass. 500. 000 cent cleared 30 days ago. I watched my sister swallow hard. My father's jaw tick. My mother's mask flicker. They had expected Grandpa to forget. They had expected me to stay quiet. They had expected no consequences. But that was their mistake. I do nothing loudly. Not anymore. I didn't rage. I didn't accuse that. I simply stood up from the table and walked to the hallway where the light was dimmer and the air cooler. Better for thinking. Their whispers rose behind. Excuses forming, stories aligning, blame shifting like shadows. Desperatado cling to any surface but themselves. I pulled out my phone not to call the police. Not yet. First, I documented everything. Grandpa's statements, the transfer, their reactions, screenshots, timestamps, photos of their faces frozen in shock. Because revenge, when done correctly, isn't driven by anger. It's driven by order, by sequence, by timing. When I returned to the dining room, I didn't sit. I didn't need to. I simply said, "We're going to clear this up." My mother opened her mouth, but her voice broke on the first word. Good. I want edit, too. The moment finally snapped when Grandpa said it aloud. You stole from your own child. My father stood abruptly. Now hold on. But I cut him off with a tone I didn't know I possessed. No, you hold on. 3 words. Quiet. Surgical. They froze. I turned to Grandpa. Do you want your money back? Henna did. Devastated. I nodded calm. Then this doesn't stay in the family. My sister gasped. My mother reached for me like I was the threat. But I was past their reach now. I stepped into the kitchen, dialed the number, and spoke with steady breath. Yes, I'd like to report financial fraud. My mother's knees buckled when she heard the words. My father's face collapsed into something unrecognizable. My sister whispered my name like a plead. I didn't look at any of them. Some betrayals require eye contact. Others deserve only silence. The officers arrived 30 minutes later. The truth arrived faster. Records, transfers, IP addresses, all pointing the same direction. They didn't see my revenge coming because it wasn't loud. It was inevitable. As they were questioned, I stood outside on the porch, breathing in the cold air, feeling the first clean inhale I'd taken in years. Grandpa joined me, resting a hand on Miss Holder. "You're stronger than they ever expected," he said. He was right. I had learned the most important lesson betrayal teaches. People underestimate the quiet ones until the quiet is the loudest thing in the room. My family fell that night. I didn't. I rose. And as the police car doors shut behind them, I let the final truth settle in my chest like a vow. Silence is not weakness. Silence is the loading of the weapon.